Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. I'm Brent Kowalczyk, Deputy Mayor in the Village of Red Hook. I'm sitting in this evening for the mayor, who's on a well-deserved vacation. And it looks like Trustee Trapp is also away on personal business. So tonight is Monday, August the 11th, 7 o'clock, and welcome. So we'll start this evening just by reviewing and approving the minutes of the meetings. And these are two meetings that we had last month, one on the 14th, which is our regular board meeting, and then we had a workshop on the 24th. So I would like to make one revision. This would be toward the July 14th minutes, page 14. This would be in the town water customers. Corrected town rate was set at a base of $120.75.
Can you repeat that, please?
$120.75. And the old rate at page 14, town water customers.
Oh, okay.
So the old rate, we doubled the base rate for the village, but we also doubled the electric surcharge. So we reduced the electric surcharge down to what everyone in the village is paying for. So we should be good with that. Are there any other additions, deletions, or revisions to either of the minutes?
What did you change?
Page 14 on the 14th,
Town water cost?
town water base rate. And that was figured in with the double the village rate plus 17.25 of new electric charge, which is a 50% increase from the $15. So the previous rate was incorrect in that we doubled not only the village rate, but also the electric surcharge per customer.
Thank you.
Any additional revisions?
No.
Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes on both the 14th and the 24th
So moved.
with corrections.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing none, minutes are approved. Treasurer Cole will now read the treasurer's report.
Account balances, the general fund, $702,554.56. Water fund, $87,752.12. Trust and agency, $13,922.52. Materials management, $4,359.07. Petty cash, $96.26. Village green, $3,510.41. Hard scrabble, $2,202.13. Health insurance, $4,512.81. Capital projects, $356.67. Monthly expenses, the general fund, $290,808.29. Water fund, $16,573.74. Trust and agency, $13,922.52. And materials management, $2,371.56. And the reason why the general fund is so high is because I made a payment on the village hall. It was a principal and interest payment.
Any questions for the treasurer on the report?
No.
Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer's report approved. Sergeant Hildebrand is not with us this evening, so I'll go through the Red Hook Village police reports for July 2014. We had 163 incidences, 92 of those in the village, 68 in the town of Red Hook, and 3 in the village of Tivoli. Uniform traffic tickets, total of 54. There were 38 in the village, 2 2 of those were parking tickets and 16 in the town of Red Hook. And there were 10 arrests, 5 in the village and 5 in the town. Trustee Zarchek, if you could please go over the water report, and also I think we'll talk about the facilities as well. Did you have the floor?
All right, just a note on the police report.
Yep.
Trying to see, I know you probably don't know, but did they do any walking patrols?
I don't know, but I'll certainly ask the sergeant when I see him. He had the day off today too. So the number of walking patrols?
Walking patrols and bike patrols.
All right.
Okay, the water report for July is the water plant treated 7,142,000 gallons of water for a daily average of 230,000 gallons. July of last year saw 7,601,000 gallons treated for a daily average of 245,000 gallons. 2 samples, one taken on July the 3rd, the other on July the 10th, were brought to the Smith Laboratory in Hyde Park. Both returned a negative result. On July the 1st, a hydrant on Graves Street was replaced after it was found to have been backed over by a vehicle. During replacement, the valve controlling the hydrant was found to be damaged and was also replaced. During the course of the project, a 2-foot section of pipe was added to set the hydrant a bit further back from the roadway so as to prevent future damage.
And you just want to briefly discuss, I guess, the facilities status of any of the projects going on in the facilities?
You mean this?
We can bring it up.
It was, just a second. It was brought into our attention by the clerk that we were having a problem down in the records area of the basement where it was rather damp. The paper records and the cardboard boxes, we had a few of them damaged. And so during the past week, week and a half, much discussion is being taken on getting a dehumidifier down there, but one of good size, an industrial dehumidifier. And we're working on getting that, and also whether we can put the paper copies on CD and store them, and then destroy the paper copies. And we have feelers out to the state for the judicial branch, and also to the mayors, or the committee, or the organization of mayors for any village, because there are quite a few records down there that are probably in the neighborhood of 50, 60 years old that have to be kept. So much appreciation to the clerk for bringing this to our attention, and we hope to have this remedied here very shortly.
And the village is also pursuing grants too. More on that will come forward with perhaps getting some money for a bigger dehumidifier, as Ed has said, and also to assist with putting some of the paper records on electronic file. So there's a fair amount of paper that we do have to still keep within the building for accessibility. We have both all of our clerks' files down there, police files, court files, and water files. So each department seems to have a different criteria based on state law that require easy access to those records for a certain period of time. So we are looking at every and all options to be rectified and keep the problem under control. So And just real quick, Steve, any status on the roof project, the roof repair?
Yes, there was a bid put out. We received that from SAP Exteriors, and we've received the documents that we requested from them.
So we'd be able to award that maybe on the 21st of the workshop?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes, we will.
And we had also talked briefly about service contracts and just make sure that all of our services for the HVAC generators and boilers are up to
Yes.
date, and that's something that you'll pursue.
Yes, hopefully I'll have a report by workshop.
Great. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
And we'll go with zoning and planning. We don't have a report for this month due to a computer glitch on our new programming system. That'll be forthcoming, but we do have the total amount of revenue that was generated for the month of July, and that amount is $1,903.74. So it's always good to get the revenue in. And then Trustee Norris, if you would please.
Okay, we had the third annual community potluck and concert at Abrams Park on August 2nd. It featured bluegrass band Grassfed, which is led by Taste Buds Dan Budd. About 60 people came and enjoyed the music and potluck. We do plan on this being an annual event. Dan loves doing it, I love doing it, so we're gonna do it again. And then we're gearing up for Hard Scrabble Day, which will be Saturday, September 20th. If you're interested in being a vendor, please find our application on hardscrabbleday.org. We do also ask if you're a nonprofit organization that you still fill out the application, even though there's not a fee to be a vendor if you're nonprofit. Just for continuity, we like to have all the information on a form. We are pleased to announce that this year's main stage entertainment will be Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Greg Rowley, who was a founding member of Santana and Journey, and he's currently touring with Ringo Starr, so he's taking time out of his schedule to play for us. We'll also have local music throughout the day, and the parade will be at 4:30. That's a change from years previously. We're also going to have the Kids Scrabble area again on the Key Bank lawn with lots of activities for children, activities by local groups, and hopefully clothing swap. We're working on that as well. Library report came in late, so pardon me for reading it off of my phone. The library shared 7,818 items in July and hosted 68 programs attended by 1,186 people. They had an author event with astronomer Bob Berman. They launched their summer reading program with a special performance by Animal Embassy and had a great time at the Elks Community Day. The library's Transforming Communities grant has kept them busy. By the end of July, they had talked to more than 100 people about their aspirations for the village of Red Hook. They will continue to meet with organizations in August and September. The next community conversation is Tuesday, August 19th from 5 to 7 at the Red Hook Community Arts Network Gallery. They are pleased to report that they received a $20,000 grant from the State Dormitory Authority to begin renovations on the second floor, which is currently being used for office space and storage. They look forward to creating more space for programs and meetings and will continue to seek out additional grants to help fund the project. They're gearing up for a busy fall and will be launching their Geek the Library campaign on Hard Scrabble Day. So make sure you visit them on Hard Scrabble Day. So that's them. And then materials management. For the month of July, we sold $3,477.50 in garbage tags and had out 11.06 tons of garbage and 6.26 tons, that's a typo, sorry, of single stream recycling. And we paid out $1,221.77. That's all I have.
Thank you. And I'll start with the Village Green monthly report. The current balances of the Village Green Committee's related budget accounts are as follows. This is as of July 31st. Community beautification, we have $3,900. Shade tree contractual, $9,000. Village Green Committee checking account, $3,510.41. There were no Village Green meetings held during the month of July. An estimate was received on July 28th from Everhard Tree Care LLC for village street tree removal and pruning. The estimated cost of $4,850 will be deducted from the general fund shade tree contractual expense budget line. This work includes a total of 14 trees located in the village street right-of-ways, and work is anticipated to be complete in August of 2014. Village residences can purchase a bench dedication plaque. We sold another one in August and sold one in July. We have 7 left. 7 benches without plaques remaining, and proceeds from the sale of the plaques will be deposited in the dedicated Village Green checking account and will be used to purchase the plaques and pay for the installation. The remaining funds will be used for future village community enhancement projects. Again, 7 benches are still available, and if you are interested, please contact either myself or the village clerk at 758-1081 for more information. The Village Highway Department monthly report. The Village Highway Department is currently picking up lawn debris and brush on every first and third Monday of the month, and residents are reminded to place lawn debris and brush curbside. Please limit the size of the brush pile to 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet, with tree limbs and branches no larger than 8 inches in diameter. And please do not include tree trunks and debris from tree maintenance performed by private contractors. Requests for bid proposals were offered in July of 2014. Catch basins and culvert repair and or replacement locations were listed. There's quite a few locations. Most of them are out in Reddick Estates. Some on West Market Street by the middle school, some on East Market Street, but the majority of them seems to be over at Reddick Estates. And bids were due no later than 4 o'clock on August 8th, and the bids are to be submitted. They were submitted and opened, and funding for this project will be deducted from the general fund's CHIPS allocation. And we'll get, I guess, more into that as we go as far as the actual opening of the bids in the regular business section of this. Easy Street Cleaning Incorporated completed painting street stop bars, curbs, and municipal parking lot car stalls in July. The $3,200 project cost will be deducted from the maintenance of streets, street maintenance appropriations budget line. The Village Highway Department is in process of identifying, cataloging, and marking all village-owned tools and equipment for inventory and insurance purposes. And no scrap metal was sold during the month of July. Total revenue generated for this fiscal year is still at 0. We do, I think, have 2 or 3 bills that we're anticipating that have not come in yet this month. Since the inception of the scrap metal recycling program in September of 2007, $16,456.17 has been generated. Proceeds from this program go toward the purchase of tools and equipment for the village highway, water, and materials management departments. Residents and business owners interested in donating scrap metal can contact the highway department at 758-8600 or the village clerk's office at 758-1081. The Intermunicipal Task Force and Red Hook Infrastructure monthly report. The Red Hook Sewer Project. Round 2 of the water samplings occurred on July 16, 2014 and sent to Smith Laboratory for testing. 11 sites have been located to monitor and test subsurface water quality, and 3 sites have been located to monitor and test surface water quality in the village. Subsurface water samples are being tested for fecal coliform, nitrates, and caffeine indicators. The purpose of the test is to determine what, if any, effects improperly sized and/or failing septics or cesspools wastewater treatment systems have on the village's drinking water supply. And data from these tests will be included in the engineer's report as prepared by CT Mail and submitted for evaluation and scoring by the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. Hopefully still in August is our deadline. Scoring determines the ranking and priority of a particular drinking water or clean water project proposal in New York State for major capital funding eligibility and opportunities that's listed on the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation intended use plan. And funding for this study and engineer's report is provided by the $30,000 New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and Environmental Facilities Corporation Engineering and Planning Grant Award. The Red Hook Water Projects, Red Hook Water Project Phase 1 meetings were held on July 2nd, 11th, and 29th to review final procedures and documents remain to be completed and submitted to the USDA for final closeout. Additional costs for the 2013 A133 audit are being reviewed for acceptance by Patterson, Koski, Howe, and Bucci, and they were the auditors who did the A133 audit, and they agreed to the additional $2,500. So we're trying to submit that for reimbursement at this point right now. The final submission of Form E to USDA may include these costs, and the Village Board of Trustees approved resolutions need to occur to revise the administrative category for the final Form E submission. A tentative date of August 21st, which is our next workshop meeting, is scheduled to adopt this resolution. The Phase 2 project, the $3.8 million bond resolution, was approved by the Red Hook Village Trustees on July 24th. This resolution is subject to permissive referendum. The resolution has been posted in 6 locations at all polling places in the Village of Red Hook and in the Daily Freeman and Poughkeepsie Journal as per the USDA Bond Council requirements. These were posted on July 30th and 31st, and they'll be up through August 29th and 30th. I guess 30th will be the last day. The legal service agreement and bond council agreements for Phase 2 were signed by the mayor on July 29th, and the letter of conditions and request for obligations of funds were received by the village on August 1st. In the mayor's absence, I signed the request for obligations of funds and returned it to the USDA on August 1st. The federal government was pooling the money and allocating money to the various states for the projects. This document secured the $3.8 million at an interest rate of 3.25%. And this was originally 3.5%, but the interest rate had dropped. And this is for a 38-year term. Additional items listed in the letter of conditions are anticipated to be complete in August of 2014. Ed and I are actually going down to Highland to sign the rest of the documents on the 18th upon his return. So we should get going on that soon. The Red Hook Town Economic Development Committee monthly report and EDC meeting was held on July 9th, and the following items were discussed. The EDC approved hiring Richard Wambach of Wambach Communications to design the Red Hook events calendar and to train EDC members on its use and management of the calendar website. A Libraries Transforming Communities aspiration exercise was conducted by the cohort members Jane McLaughlin and Erica Freudenberger at the 9th meeting as well. Another EDC meeting was scheduled for July 23rd, but not held due to a lack of quorum. There were no meetings of the Community Preservation Fund, Farmland Protection Advisory Committee, and the Town of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee, both committees I'm a member of representing the Village of Red Hook. The Town of Red Hook Villages of Red Hook and Tivoli Shared Services Committee. Both Ed and I sit on that committee, and right now we're working on a highway shared services study. And a meeting was held on July 25th at the Red Hook Town Hall. The following items were discussed at this meeting: the draft existing conditions, department structures, and services interim report of July 23rd was reviewed. The draft report included sections on of course, the introduction, the municipal context, which covered the history, demographics, socioeconomic status, land use and development patterns, and transportation systems of all 3 municipalities, the highway services and structures, methodology for analyzing highway services and activities, inputs and outputs and outcomes were all analyzed for each of the 3 municipalities, and the conclusion was formed. This is still in draft stage right now, and we'll be meeting with the consultants in 2 weeks to further refine the documents and data that pertain specifically to the Village of Red Hook. This report defines and describes the structure of service delivery models in each municipality, the resources utilized in the delivery of highway services, the services that are currently provided, the level of services provided, and the cost of services currently provided. Information regarding the status and progress of the Highway Shared Services Study can be accessed with redhook.roundoutconsulting.com. and that's Rondot, RONDOT, consulting.com. There were no Red Hook Together meetings for the month of July. Both Ed and I are village representatives on that, and Jen went into the libraries transforming communities, the Public Innovators cohort. Again, the library is currently conducting a series of exercises with Red Hook Village residents, civic, cultural, and interest groups. These exercises will continue over the next 18 months to help determine what kind of community people want to live in, and listen to comments regarding what actions need to happen to create a more engaged community. Over 23 ask exercises involving 33 individuals, 6 aspiration exercises with civic, cultural, and interest groups such as the Chamber of Commerce. There are upcoming meetings this week actually with Historic Red Hook. We've spoken with the library board, various other groups. EDC is one of them too, and 2 community conversations. One was held at Living Eden, and the other at the Enchanted Cafe. 12 people attended those. So we've been in touch with 102 people that have participated in this. This is about 5% of the village population, and we'll continue doing this. The Red Hook Library is one of 10 libraries nationwide to receive a grant from the American Libraries Association with sponsorship from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Learning Libraries Transforming Communities is an ALA initiative that addresses the critical need within the library field by developing and distributing new tools, resources, and support for libraries to engage with their communities in new ways. This will result in stronger roles for libraries to become more reflective of and connected to their communities, and build stronger partnerships with legal, civic agencies, nonprofits, funders, and corporations. Any questions on any of the monthly reports so far?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
On the Village Green Committee,
Yep.
when they go out and look at the trees, do they also take in consideration if the trees are in any way affecting or growing into the utilities lines?
Yes, that's probably one of the major factors. So when we're looking at some of the pruning, we have been looking at the trees, and some of the ones that are in question, we actually hire an arborist to look from for it. But if there are some dead branches that are within power lines, we'll take them down and prune them up. So basically the street trees that would cause harm or damage to property or individuals walking on the street or cars, we try to get to before they fall down, or loose branches, dead branches come down. So there's quite a few trees this year that, actually more than normal, we're pruning and or removing.
Yeah, maples are taking a hit.
Maples are taking a hit. Ash trees too. The emerald ash borer. We don't have that problem as much as other states do in locations, but we keep an eye on most of the trees, and that help us determine what trees to plant in the future. So.
Okay. Thank you. Also on the highway department,
Yep.
on number 4, I meant to ask this last month, that you're saying the village highway department is processing, identifying, cataloging, marking all village-owned tools.
Yep.
For inventory and insurance purposes, we should also do this for all computer and computer-related equipment, such as this modem sitting right, or router sitting right here. Everything should be cataloged. So one, it can be kept by inventory, but then we can also keep maintenance records.
That's a good point.
And how are they marking them? Are they tagging them, or?
I think they're color them and then etch them, electronic etching. So we have, an identification with a color and then also with an etching. Village Red Hook, copy of Village Red Hook.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it?
We'll move into our regular business. The first thing on the agenda would be the 2015 Community Development Block Grant. And I don't know if you all got the copy of the low mod map that had been circulating. But what the map had indicated, this is just a 2014 edition that just came out. It's happy to, but what it says is that looks like the entire town of Red Hook and the village of Red Hook are eligible based on our median household income, where you have population 40.74% of the population is below the cutoff point. 59% plus is over, so that disqualifies us from a lot of the programs that are out there. Tivoli, however, does qualify for some. What we do qualify for, speaking with Dutchess County Planning today and over and last week as well, was some of the ADA or handicap projects that they would have. And those are not, the other projects have a limit of $150,000 grant. The ADA has a limit of $100,000. So this would include sidewalks that we can do with ADA compliant, curb cuts and ramps. And there's also a way of, so that's one idea. And we should be talking, the deadline is in October. So we have to have time to write the grant and do the research, and the application's fairly involved, and we want to make sure we have our ducks in a row, so to speak, to apply for the grant. Another way for us to perhaps get eligible for the higher amount is to do an income survey for a particular area of the village of Red Hook to be considered for low mod criteria. And this would be $150,000 max for infrastructure, roadway, sidewalk, street lighting, etc. So we would have to designate an area to study the income. There's a procedure to follow based on, it's on, actually as appendix to the application, so we can, again, talk about that. There's a specific area we're gonna think about applying for a grant on this location with infrastructure. We can certainly do that. So just food for thought. But it's just interesting, last year we did, parts of the village did qualify for low mod. This year, none of it does, so that would affect what we're doing, especially right now with the grants that we have outstanding.
I think to add to that, I think you can put a note on there that we should discuss Villageville for ADA compliance.
We should be ADA compliant here, for the most part.
If the power goes out or the elevator breaks down, there's no way for a wheelchair-bound person to get out of the building.
Okay,
We have a generator.
yeah. Should work. Should work, that's how.
I've seen generators not work. It's just a discussion.
Yep, that's a good one. So we'll be hopefully discussing this on the 21st as well.
Okay.
Which leads to the 2013 Community Development Block Grant. Robert, I don't know if you want, did you want to read the bids? The bids were open. I'll just give them a real brief intro here. The bids were due August 1st at 2:00 p.m., at which time Cindy, myself, and Robert opened the bids. The village Red Hook Water Supply has 2 existing wells. This is the nature of the project. 2 existing wells, well field located on Firehouse Lane south of the village is the primary water source and is currently providing all the water used in the village's water system. The well field located on Route 199 east of the village has 3 existing wells that have not been used since the 1990s due to high iron levels in the water. This evaluation was conducted to determine the feasibility of installing a packaged iron treatment system in the Route 199 well fields to remove iron and reconnect the wells to the village's water supply. This project would then provide additional water. This actually, part of the project was reconfigured. The scope of work was changed because of the higher cost of the treatment facility there, to drill a new well on the Firehouse Lane well field site. This project would then provide additional water supply capacity to the village water system. The work includes but is not limited to the installation of new water supply well number 15, including supply, installation, and/or modification of all instrumentation, electrical supply and controls, SCADA system, piping, valving, and integration with existing mechanical and electrical systems and wellhead protection features. So Robert, I don't know if you wanted to read the bids that came in?
Microsoft. This might be separate.
Yeah, you can sit there.
So we received 3 bids. The low bidder being Trinity Construction for $168,783. Second bidder was Arrow Construction for $199,032, and Aventus Construction for $258,000 even. So we're familiar with these guys, as you remember. Trinity is the current contractor that did the wellfield improvements contract 1G. And actually, Arrow Construction was a bidder from last time. So these two of these guys are familiar with the project and what's going on down there. The bids were a little higher than expected, and they are higher than the amount from the CDBG grant. So that's, I think you've got a topic to discuss that.
Right.
I have had a chance to talk to Trinity, which is the low bidder, and evaluate his bid. He is comfortable with his bid, and he's ready to move forward if the village wants to.
And right now, all 3 of the bids are being reviewed by CT Mail and also Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development, just to make sure that the numbers and the descriptions align with the scope of work provided in the bid documents. And the Planning Department, Dutchess County Department of Planning, is also reviewing in terms of the minority and women-owned business enterprise criteria, which we did invite MWBE firms to participate in the bid process. So these are all being reviewed. We're anticipating awarding this contract on the August 21st, 2014 workshop. But as Robert said, we did have some overages. The low bid came in at $168,783. On top of that project, there's a $15,000 engineering fee, which is the grant pays for 10% of the consultant services, and then we'll have a little extra more money for administration and accounting. So we're looking at an overage perhaps of about $34,000 to $35,000. So, thank you, Robert. Which goes into our next resolution. And there's any discussion about these overages, but we had in the board privately just trying to figure out to move forward with this or what, and what we need to do to raise the extra revenue. One thought that we had that seemed to resonate was to take out a line of credit. This would be a low interest line of credit provided by Salisbury Bank and Trust Company. This is the same bank that provided our short-term financing for the Federal Highway Administration project of West Market Street and the 2 ADA compliant crosswalks on Route 9. And so we drafted a resolution as part of the requirement to take out this loan. And again, we're looking at approximately $200,000, which would cover short-term costs. $150,000 of that will be reimbursed as soon as we submit the paperwork. But again, the key word there is reimbursement. We have to pay before we get reimbursed. And the additional money we would have to come with, just judging from what we're seeing on the 2015 Community Development Block Grant, where the village is no longer qualified for the low mod without either an income survey or ADA compliant projects. We all thought that this would probably be the best solution. So if there's any comments right now we could make, or I'll have Cindy read the resolution for consideration by the board. Any comments?
No.
If you would, please.
Resolution 15, 2014 for Salisbury Bank Trust Company and the line of credit note for the Village of Red Hook, a water improvement project, well number 15. Dated August 11, 2014, authorizing the issuance of a note of $200,000 in the form of a commercial line of credit pursuant to the local finance law for the purpose of interim funding of public improvements. Whereas the Village of Red Hook has been awarded a CDBG for water system improvement well 15 from Dutchess County Department of Planning, which is reimbursable up to $150,000. Whereas Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development reviews bills from the contractor before reimbursing the village, and there may be a short-term time delay, several weeks, between payment to the contractor and reimbursement to the Village of Red Hook. Whereas there may be a need to reduce the impact of the village's water fund by exercising the bridge loan for a time gap between payment of the village and reimbursement by the grantor. The project costs in excess of $150,000. Whereas Salisbury Bank and Trust Company has analyzed the project and financial data and offered a bridge loan to the village in the form of a commercial line of credit to the Village of Red Hook at 1.35% interest. Whereas the Village Board of Red Hook, it is at its meeting on August 11, 2014, adopted a resolution effective August 11, 2014, authorizing the issuance of a line of credit in the note in the amount of $200,000. Now, be it resolved that the Village of Red Hook as follows. The Village of Red Hook shall issue the line of credit note in the aggregate principal sum of $200,000. The specific object or purpose for which the obligation is to issue is the Red Hook Water Improvement Project Well 15. The power to prescribe the term, forms, and content of such note is hereby delegated to Edward Blundell, Mayor of the Village of Red Hook, and the Mayor of the Village of Red Hook is hereby directed to sign the note and ancillary documents issued pursuant to the Village of Red Hook, and the village clerk is hereby directed to attest said signature and to affix a such note to the corporate seal of the Village of Red Hook. The faith and credit of the Village of Red Hook are hereby pledged in the payment of the principal and interest of the note. The resolution shall take effect immediately.
And I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. The next order of regular business is Resolution 16, the 2014 election date. Every 7 years, the village required by law to change the voting date. This is the 7th year which we have to do this, and primarily the voting day usually on a Tuesday will be changed to a Wednesday. There's a conflict of another.
St. Patrick's Day. That's all. It's mandatory for all villages.
So Cindy, if you would read Resolution 16.
Resolution 16, 2014, adopted this day, August 11, 2014, whereas pursuant to 15-104-1A of the election law of the state of New York in general, village election shall be held on the third Tuesday in March, whereas pursuant it's a little misprint there, 15-104-1B of the election law of the state of New York, in any village in which the general election, village election, or a special village election for officers pursuant to this chapter is scheduled to be held on the third Tuesday of March. In any year in which this 17th day of March shall fall on a Tuesday, the Board of Elections such village shall provide by resolution prescribed by paragraph B of the subdivision 3 of 15-104 of the election law of the state of New York, that such election shall be held on the 18th day of March. And whereas the third Tuesday of March 2014 is March 17, 2015. Now there be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook, Dutchess County, State of New York, do hereby set March 18th as the date of the general election of said Village of Red Hook, said election to be held that date between the hours of 12 noon and 9 p.m. at the polling place of the Village Hall at 7467 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York, adopted this 11th day of August 2014.
And again, I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Second. Steve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, resolution passes. And one other thing not included on the regular business but mentioned in the monthly report is the CHIPS Highway Fund awards and also bids. This was the catch basins that we had sent a bid out for, and I'll read through this real quickly. The following estimates and bids were received by 4 o'clock on Friday, August 8th, 2014 at the Village Building of the Village of Red Hook. The estimates were opened and read at the Village Building on Friday, August 8th, 2014 at 4 o'clock p.m. Village Clerk Sidney Cole opened and read the bid estimates, and myself attended. The scope of work includes 8 projects to repair and replace catch basins, frames, grates, and site restoration at various locations in the Village of Red Hook. These sites and projects are listed as numbers below. West Market Street and Middle School exit. Number 2 is number 43, 53, 62, and Red Hook Electric on East Market Street. 5 Cambridge Drive, 20 Cambridge Drive, 10 and 15 Kent Road, the Catholic Church Rectory, 15 Thompson Street, maybe, and the intersection of Kent Road and Cambridge Drive. The Village of Red Hook requested proposals from 4 separate contractors. These included A.C. Smith & Sons Construction, David Vosberg, J.S. Lohr Excavating and Site Contracting, and Frank Vosberg Excavating and Paving Contractor. The following bid was received and opened. This was from Frank Vosberg & Son, dated August 6, 2014. Each of the projects were estimated. The total for all the projects was $18,280. And with this work, all work includes replacing any blacktop and or topsoil disturbed during excavation. All materials are to be supplied by the Village of Red Hook. All work is prevailing wage, and the work is to be completed by September 26, 2014. I'd like to make a motion that we award the contract to Frank Vosberg Excavating and Paving Contractor for the price of $18,280. Prevailing wage, materials were supplied by the village, complete restoration of blacktop and topsoil disturbed, and with a completion date of September 26. Do I hear a second?
So,
Any discussion?
Do we have an estimate of how much the materials will cost?
Not yet. And it's probably around 5,000, I would think, tops. So this is part of, all this money would come from the CHIPS allocation. And we do have quite a bit of money in the 41,000 for CHIPS, and then there's an additional 4,000 something from the severe extreme winter weather grant. So this will, materials and labor, plus also Frank's number will be allocated from that fund. Any other business from the board? This time I take any questions or try to answer any questions from the public.
Yeah, Brent, at the school, when they did all the meters, did they change the meters at the school, the 4-inch ones and the 3/4?
Yes.
Because I know
They may
the
have
other
been
ones,
bigger at that. Do you know for sure, Steve, on that?
no, I don't.
because the 4-inch ones, I know they were compound meters.
Yeah.
They got 2 settings, top, bottom, and that.
I know they
gotta
changed.
be red.
They changed all those and the meters have been read. Actually, we just got a, I can tell you what the meters were, but yeah, we read them this month actually for usage, so.
You don't have to go in there anymore, it's just like driving by the house, right?
Right, it's all way to read meters on that.
Okay. The other thing is, do we still belong, the village, to the New York Rural Water? We do.
Yeah.
Now, they're the ones I was talking about the last time, and that bill will come down, and they will run that check for free on the,
At their availability and
where there's any kind of leakage. They hook hydrant to hydrant, they usually come down real early in the morning.
we've used them in the past for that service too. So what, I think some of the questions that we had, we did have someone check the mains, but the laterals, the service connections from the mains to the house, that wasn't checked. Those are private. So that I think within the mains itself, we're not sure, and hopefully phase 2 will cover this quadrant back here, which would be good. But we've had rural water.
Have they been down and checked this since we've had all this
Not
lawsuit?
that I know of, and
Of
I'm
water?
sorry that Robert left, and he would probably be better to answer that question, but I could check in.
Well, he didn't know anything about it the last time.
Yeah, we had another group come in and check the mains during phase one when that was going on, but rural water, I don't believe came in.
Steve, have you noticed any change in the water? I mean, you
No.
know, no cutback.
No, none yet, no.
So we're still monitoring.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll find.
Would you consider getting them down here to check?
Yeah, we've been in contact with them on other projects as well, and they've been helpful. We do belong as members with rural water, so. And the guy who usually comes down here, I think he's the mayor in another municipality south of us. So he's offered the same thing, but again, it depends on their availability as well. So we'll look into that. Any other questions?
Quick question.
Yeah.
I noticed they patched the road at a few spots on Gray Street that had potholes. There's a section on Hairpin Turn on Cherry Street, I guess would be the south side. It's kind of chewed up on the end of the road, and people, cars or bicycles, have to swing out to the left a little bit, and because it's a hairpin turn, it's probably going to be a head-on there eventually.
So the road is rough, or?
Yeah, it's like pitting up, breaking up on
Okay.
the inside, the tight part of it. So I try to move over my car. I'm looking ahead for what's coming. But bicycles and stuff like that, they'll swing out, and somebody's swinging wide coming down. It'll be somewhere down the line, just because that's, overall, I think they've done a pretty good job with the streets, but I just noticed that last couple of months.
Yeah, I know a lot of the roads still took a beating this winter.
It was probably from that.
And
It
we're,
was like that
you know,
last year.
I think back on this stuff, we're not doing too much because of phase two. We'll get a lot of those roads restored back there. I'll have Dan look at it, and if it's in bad enough shape, because we still have money for chips.
Yeah, it's not,
Chip-
it probably wouldn't be a big patch or anything, but
Yeah.
it's just, because of the location itself, creates an unsafe condition as opposed to just
Yeah.
an annoying pothole.
It might be a good opportunity when we're doing the catch basins, we'll have, the asphalt trucks and the rollers in and
Yeah.
stuff, and that would probably be a good time to have
That's probably all
any
it would
work
take, something
done.
like that. Just have Dan look at it
All
and
right.
see.
Any other
Does
questions?
anybody know when there's going to be a public shared service meeting? We've only had one, and there was supposed to be one, but it never happened.
Right.
Do you have any idea?
I think we're trying to set one up in September, but nothing definitive at this point. I know that they were working on, as I read in my monthly report, the analysis of existing conditions. So we're still trying to finalize the data on that. They did they interviewed all the highway workers and the mayors and supervisor of the town of Red Hook, highway department, foremen and superintendents as well. So we're trying to get the data as accurate as possible so they can make a positive determination on that. So I think the next meeting we have is on the 26th maybe, 27th, 28th.
Get something to show the public.
Yeah, and again, the stuff's supposed to be available on the website, and if you've
Yeah.
gone on to that,
Well,
so.
may I have a look this week?
I mean, the last thing we reviewed was a draft, so again, we were just trying to get that information as accurate as possible, so any recommendations that they would have is to their best possible ability and knowledge. So I know we had some issues, and the town does too, so hopefully we'll clarify that before we move too much forward. Any
That
others?
well 15 that you're talking about, what is that, a gravel well or is that rock?
I believe I'm not really sure, it's probably gravel.
How close is it to any of the other wells? Because I mean,
It's in the back,
Because I mean, it would be like drilling in a sponge.
Yeah.
You're pulling off from out of the gravel and that, so.
well, that's why they have all the variable flow devices there just to check the level of the aquifer as it goes forward. But this is a site that they had picked when they were doing actually phase one. There was a contingent in there, as when Robert was talking about, the price that started in phase one, where we're at now with the community development block grant, but
Would that be over, buddy, behind the old cold storage? There's, well, what would
yeah,
it be,
it'd be Yeah, you know that path that goes past the generator and...
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
there's like 3 or 4 wells back there, back in that area. So we'll try to, there's a road actually that we'll have to put a new pipe in there and conduits for the electrical hookups and control devices. So that's generally the area what it would be. Any other questions? Hearing none. Any additional comments from the board, new business?
Nothing.
Just a reminder that we do have a village workshop scheduled for August 21st, 2014, 7 o'clock at the village building. And without any other additional comments, I would like to make the motion that we adjourn this evening's meeting. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion to pay bills after audit.
So moved.
Discussion?
None.
So moved. Now I'm ready to make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting. Do I hear a second? Discussion?
None.
Good night.
Wow, that's nice.